Hello everyone, it's Varos, and I'm finally posting this very special video I've wanted to make ever since I've started this channel, and this is very exciting to finally make my first tips and tricks video for Hydra the Dream Witch. As an S badge, I believe I have some experience to speak on the topic. However, I still make lots of mistakes, and I'm definitely not a pro player, okay? Also, the tips and tricks you'll see are misorganized. They don't go from the easiest to hardest, because I have no idea which one is the easiest and the hardest, because I've been using them for so long, and I just don't remember how I felt when I first learned them. Without further ado, let's get started.
Pressuring the last cipher.
Pressuring the last cipher, or even the last ciphers, can be challenging. What I would advise is to get your spawn follower on a cipher with the most progress on it. It's better to place spawn follower there because it can't be removed or dragged away like the leeches. It's completely under your control. If there are no other ciphers being decoded, just keep your main body nearby, leech people from time to time, blink or patroller them down, but only and only if the cipher machine isn't above 90%. If it is, you're going to be entering endgame really soon, and it's better not to waste your trait. If you do get someone down, remember to cheer them with their leech, and to keep your spawn on a cipher. If the survivors have started another cipher, try moving your main body to it as closely as possible to leech someone working on it. This way, you'll be pressuring one cipher with your spawn follower and another one with constant leeching. Make sure to chase these survivors, but don't go too deep into the chase. If there's also a third cipher machine in the work, all I could advise at this point is to leech as many people as possible and to save your trait or recharge its cooldown. Try not to enter an endgame without no one leeched. One leeched survivor is 99% of the time a tie, and two leeched survivors is almost 65% of the time a win, if you play it right, of course.
First chase in middle.
This is something I've picked up from watching a lot of tournament gameplays, and this tactic doesn't always work, but you have to keep it in mind just in case you're able to do something with it. The strategy is chasing someone in the middle of the map, and let me explain why. If the middle map cipher gets finished early game, it really makes your map pressure weaker late game. Imagine this scenario. The middle cipher is finished because the Dream Witch hasn't visited this part of the map early game, as she was chasing someone in some other location. When entering late game, all three last cipher machines would be scattered all across the map, and survivors will have less troubles with priming one of them, because pressuring all these ciphers at once while they're so far away from each other is hard or sometimes even impossible for Dream Witch. Chasing a survivor who spawned in middle is a great way to guarantee that pressuring people late game will be much easier for you. But of course, keep in mind that this is not a rule for Dream Witch, and if there is a rescuer or any kind of Dream Witch counters spawn in middle, you should find another target and move on.
If the cipher's primed, chair far away from it.
Picture this. There are 3 survivors left on the field. One had already been eliminated. The last cipher is primed or almost primed. You've managed to down one of the survivors. What do? Of course, you put a leech on the down survivor if they haven't been leeched already. Assuming your spawn follower is already on the primed cipher, you just keep it there. If not, try to send it there as quickly as possible. Balloon the down survivor with their leech and try to get them as far away from the cipher as you can. Make sure they don't struggle for you, of course. And while your leech is on the road, maybe try and get a hit with your spawn on someone who's guarding the cipher. It should look something like this. A small tip if you didn't understand how to do it exactly. If you continue holding your joystick while switching to another body, the leech will continue going straight until they bump into something. But if you remove your hand from the joystick and then switch, the follower will stay. Try practicing in customs before you go into real match. Now, you may ask me, what's the purpose of cheering far away? You see, in a situation when there are only 3 survivors left, and one of them is shared, someone has to go to rescue and someone has to watch the primed cipher. After the rescue, you'll have 2 injured survivors if you were able to camp properly, and presumably the person on the cipher would be half-half too, as you've hit them while carrying the other survivor on a balloon. You should be able to down the survivor who's in the cipher without their teammates being there on time. If you do, you'll have to chair far away again and repeat the process. Don't be scared to use blink to down the survivor on the cipher. However, I wouldn't recommend switching your traits to abnormal. It's too risky because if they do find a way to finish all ciphers, it'll be very hard for you to down someone, and the risk of dungeon or gate escape is high.
Early game patrollers.
Don't hesitate to patroller early game. It is very important to patroller your first target as soon as you can to guarantee a faster down. Don't prioritize sandwiching someone unless you're in a really good area, but we'll discuss it later. For now, all I can say is that you must patroller as soon as you can. A small tip: try not to hit a full health survivor with their own leech early game, unless you still have a patroller on your main body and you're sure you won't lose the injured survivor once their leech has disappeared. If you have a patroller on your main body, you can still catch up to the injured survivor, bite them with your patroller, and down them with your spawn follower. Don't be afraid to hit the survivor down with their leech if they already have health though. Of course, it's best not to lose followers, but if we're talking about downing people, especially early game, it's worth it.
Being aware of everything at all times.
It's really important mid to late game, knowing where every survivor is, at least vaguely, so you know which ciphers to pressure, where they could possibly be healing, anything. From time to time, ask yourself this question: what is this particular survivor doing at the moment? Where are they? Maybe look around to check for shaking ciphers you might be unaware of. This also applies to your followers. Pay attention to where each follower is, the cooldown of their traits, etc. Point is, be sure to know what's happening. Don't let the game lead you. Lead the game yourself.
Using patroller to camp.
There are 4 main uses of patroller. First is of course chasing the survivor. Second is biting the harasser, so they can't use their ability while you're ballooning someone. Third is delaying the rescue, or maybe even getting a double hit on the rescuer. Fourth is a special trick. Let's talk about third and fourth uses of patroller. If you know where the rescuer is coming from, it's best to place your spawn follower at the chair and send the leech of the chaired survivor towards the rescuer. To guarantee the hit, try to summon a patroller with your leech and bite them. After that, you have 2 possible options. Option A, to hit the survivor, recover from the attack, switch to the spawn follower and hit them again, causing a failed rescue. Or B, to stall some time without hitting them, making them potentially save after half, or maybe even not save at all. Option A is obviously only viable if the rescuer is further away from the chair, and it's good for characters like Merc. For Merc, the second option, which is stalling time, may not work as good. Since he has elbow pads, he can still get to the chair in between the bites and rescue. This also applies to characters like Patient, Aeroplanist, Cheerleader, etc. Now let's talk about the trick. I must warn you that not every survivor will fall for it, especially if they're a rescuer main or a high tier player with a lot of game sense. Still, I've encountered many people in high tier who've made the mistake of falling for this trick. Let me show you first. This is of course staged, but you'll get the idea. As you can see, I bait the rescuer to finally rescue with patrol animation. This may cause some survivors to think that it could be me accidentally clicking on a button, and that I'm stuck in the animation, which makes the perfect chance to rescue. But changing the trait resets the animation, letting you hit the unaware survivor while they're rescuing. I'd advise also baiting the survivor for a little, perhaps with some emotes or moves to make them a little bit more nervous and eager to finally rescue.
Leeching the rescuers.
Leeching the rescuer is very crucial, and it's rare that you can get a win without it, unless the survivors do some horrible mistakes, of course. Leeching the rescuer gets you the most map pressure while you're still tunneling your first targets. Even though you're deep into the chase, and it's definitely not often that you would switch to the rescuer's leech, the rescuer would still be forced to remove their leech. They can't just go to the code. Remember, they're still injured after the rescue, and it's a huge risk for them. If you get your first target down fast, before the rescuer's leech was removed, it's even better for you. It means that now you can chase them and potentially down them. It's an easy but very important thing to know about Dreamwatch. I actually struggle with this a little bit sometimes. Sometimes I just forget to put my main body near the chair, or forget to leech the rescuer entirely. Don't be like me, unless you want to get endless ties because you weren't able to cipher pressure.
Shortening the animation of the patroller.
Let me show you two videos. They're pretty much self-explanatory, but I will still explain them after it. As you can see, switching traits while in the bite animation lets you exit it earlier. A very minor tip, but it's fun to do sometimes. And who knows, maybe it'll save your matches. After all, every second counts in this game, right?
Watch a lot of pro players.
Watching pro players means watching lots of tournament Dreamwatch players and videos from HappyBot channel. It's a great way to practice your awareness without any stress that you would experience while playing yourself. Great time to keep track of where every survivor or every leech is at all times. Treat these videos like fun lessons. After some time, you'll be able to be mindful of everything on the map without even giving it a single thought. Yes, I'm speaking from experience. Just keep practicing.
Followers range.
When you're in first presence, your followers' range is smaller. Getting to full presence unlocks wider range in which you can control your followers. If the follower leaves the range, it immediately follows its host until it reaches them, be it the survivor or your main body, destroying everything on its way. When the follower is in this state and you don't control it, it's much faster, maybe even a little bit faster than the main body. Use it to your advantage. Drag your followers out of the range to reach their hosts quicker. However, in a situation where you need to pick up a survivor and you're in full presence, be careful. The follower may need more time to reach the designated location if you're in full presence. Dragging it out of the range and waiting until it's reached the host will take around 20 or 25 seconds. In this time, the downed survivor may self-heal. Sometimes, it's better to control your follower and make it go in a certain direction, as it's just faster. You'll have to play a few matches to get used to this, but the understanding of how to use the ranges will come naturally. Just remember, be balanced. Don't use just one type of movement for your followers. Be versatile and adapt to different situations.
Overpowered spots for sandwiching the survivors.
I will now show you some custom videos with my friend. They're of course staged, but the idea will be clear. First, let's define what sandwiching is. Sandwiching, or cornering the survivor, means getting them stuck in an area with 2 or more followers. This forces the survivor to take a hit from your leech no matter where they go, as you simply block all the exits from that area. You can sandwich everywhere in the map, as long as you know what you're doing. You can put one follower on the one side of the pallet and the other one on the opposite side, and this would also be considered sandwiching. But I will show you a few spots that require heights. Remember about not touching the joystick while switching between followers. Also, a very important thing about the width I'm going to tell you. Always put the spawn follower somewhere where the survivor is going to land and chase the survivor to that spot with their leech. You'll get it. Let's watch the widths.
Determination.
Last but not least is having determination. This is not a tip or anything even close to that, but this is basics if you really want to play Dream Witch. She's not for everyone. Not every person can take defeats again and again, and not everyone is ready for this kind of learning, and this is okay. You really have to make this choice by yourself, and if you do decide to continue playing her, you must remember that this is one of the hardest characters in the game, and there is nothing wrong with you for not being able to win, or making lots of mistakes, or not being able to understand her kit completely. Don't just focus on the result, focus on the journey. It's hard, but competition is fun sometimes, even if you're losing. Think about experiencing this game. Have fun. Be hungry for knowledge. And if you decide that this is not for you, then so be it. This is just a game after all. This is it for today. I'm not sure if I'll ever be making this kind of video soon, because I simply am not sure if I'm qualified enough to talk about anything other than Dream Witch. But this is fine. Sharing my knowledge has been my dream and goal, and I'm so happy that now I can proudly post a video like this. Feel free to ask any questions in the comments. Thank you everyone for supporting me. See you next time. Bye!